Hi everyone and welcome to today's webinar, The Truth Behind Luxury in Short-Term Rentals. So my name is Priya and I'm the editor of Short-Term Rentals. And if you're new around here, we are a B2B global multimedia platform focused on delivering content for professionals in the industry. So today's webinar is sponsored by Guesty, so please enjoy this video from the Guesty team. Okay, so just a few guidelines from me. So our webinar will feature a 45-minute Q&A with our panelists. There is also a chat bar at the bottom of your screen, so please do drop any questions that you might have in there and we will get to them at the end. If you'd like to share this webinar, a recording will also be sent out to your email addresses within 24 hours. You'll also receive an insight summary on all of the key points covered in today's session as well. Also, a short survey will appear on screen at the end, so please do take a few moments to fill that out if you can. So just to set a little bit of context for today's topic before we jump in, I've pulled together a few headlines from short-term rentals that have been covered just in the past few months. And as we can see, the short-term rentals market has been professionalizing rapidly in recent times. And one of the fastest segments within that is luxury. So these headlines are just a few that kind of signal just how quickly the space is evolving. So from new funds, new villa collections, membership models, all of these things are kind of capturing the high-end traveller. And with that growth comes a lot of uncertainty, mainly relating to what actually qualifies as luxury in short-term rentals and how much of the hotel playbook kind of applies. So that is exactly what we're going to be unpacking here in today's panel. So the real truth behind luxury in short-term rentals and what guests are expecting today. So I'm going to ask each of our panelists to introduce themselves before we jump in. So let's start from left to right, as we can see on screen. So Mariah, welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm actually full of luxury today, as I'm here in Cannes for ILTM. It's the biggest convention of luxury in the world, in France, of course, on the red carpet. So private islands and people who can buy everything, or people buying, or consuming hospitality for their clients. Very exciting. I totally agree. The luxury is in high demand in vacation rental and in tourism worldwide. And I'm so happy to be here today.
Thanks, Mariah. Feeling a bit jealous now that I'm not there, but you're having a great time. And Flavio, welcome. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me here. First time here in a panel with you. I was following short-term rentals since many years. First time joining with Guesty, so I'm really excited to be here.
Thanks, Flavio. Happy to have you here. And Sab, welcome.
Hello, really happy to be here as well. It's my first time. Also, like you, very jealous of Mariah. She seems to be in the best place from all of us. Really excited about this conversation as well, especially when it comes to defining what luxury is for our space.
Fantastic. Great. So let's jump straight into it then, shall we? So To kind of set the scene, I'd like to ask each of you, how would you kind of define luxury in the short-term rental space today? So, Mariah, if we start with you.
So I have my famous answer to that because luxury is not what considered to be, the mostly, state-of-the-art design or marble on the floor. For me, luxury is where nature is your neighbor. Doesn't mean that you should not have amazing pool there as well. But for me, luxury it has to do with authenticity, has to do with privacy, as many amenities as possible. I can tell again, because I'm here in Cannes, that we are beating the hotels in many, many, many of these criteria. We are private, we have amazing estates, we have location where hotels can never be built. And we have the history of hospitality, luxury hospitality for hundreds of years with today's era, with technology. So luxury is where the heart is and where you can give the best of hospitality you can imagine. And another thing about it is that hospitality in luxury is the same all over the world, both the expectations and also the service.
Definitely is that global context there as well. So we'll jump into that into a second. But Sab, coming to you, how about you? How would you define luxury in the short-term rental space?
Agree with everything that has been shared. I would also add, though, how we make people feel, right? For me, luxury is emotion. So tapping into making people feel like we're hosting for one, even though we're scaling at a faster speed. And it is also about our ability to predict what a guest wants. And also with guests who always choose to stay with us, no matter which property they are choosing in our collection, our ability to track and analyze what the requests were before so that we can match or exceed their expectations basically and really delight them. Because for me, this is what hospitality is all about, delighting our guests.
Thank you, Sab. And Flavio, coming to you.
I thought a lot about this question because luxury feels like has a different meaning for each one of us. But being in the short-term rentals industry means that we need to find a standard to define what is luxury, what is not. In my point of view, it's like a combination between effortless comfort and design. It's not about opulence or show off something, but it's more like about removing friction. If we think about ourselves, about an experience that we might have in a luxury apartment, is always like have a flawlessly experience when everything works, everything just matches about our expectation, and I feels like it's more about match expectation and comfort. Also because in luxury and short-term rentals is pretty new nowadays. Usually supposed just to be in the hotel industry, but now we feels like that we find many more short-term rentals match luxury expectation instead of hotels. So nowadays this decline is pretty changed.
Definitely touched on a lot of important points in there. And it's interesting that all of you have kind of highlighted similar but also kind of different aspects of luxury as well. So let's build on that. So what would you all kind of say is the biggest shift that you've seen when it comes to high-end guest expectations, say over the past year? Mariah, if we come to you.
Yeah, so the expectation changed a lot with the technology. People, for example, expecting to see now the winter pictures with snow. So if you thought that if you will have an amazing vacation rental and that you brought one time a photographer and it can be static, it's not longer the truth because people want authenticity also according to time of year. They want to be sure about the amenities that you are sharing, that all of them are like that and in that kind of a state. So they want more confidence rather than looking for big how do you say like expectation about standardization, like we said, about design. They want you to be more in eye level about what you provide. And like Seb said here before, the way that you as a host also involve in their experience. It's really, really important. So if all our industry became techie, became like key in the nest and whatever, luxury is the place where guests are still expecting the human touch. And from the other hand, they do want changing text, changing pictures, fast reply. They want you to understand them as well, to make the adjustment that needed for the extra person, for the extra dog, etc., etc. And they want a lot of attention, much more than any kind of guest that booking online instantly. A lot of the luxury, at least the one that we're doing in Smiling House and Villa Tracker, when it's come to ultra luxury, it's still only request to book. And for this reason, mainly, not because we do not have the icons, not because we do not have the right positioning of the place. We have everything thanks to all of the property managers that sharing it with us with Smiling House and Villa Tracker, but we still want to listen to the guest and we still want to listen to the owner. And this dance between the two, the property manager or the owner and the guest, is putting you as the property manager in a way, the one that communicating with the guest, as the master of ceremony. You have to put an itinerary together, and this kind of experience, this luxury experience, is starting much, much before they come into the house and lasting after they get back home.
Yeah. So you're kind of seeing as technologies innovating those expectations are also kind of adapting to it as
Yes,
well.
at the same time, the high touch, the human touch, will be an expectation that will remain. So that's why I'm saying everybody wants to get into the space of luxury. It's a lot of work, and you need to be also tech in the morning with the head of the tech in the morning and with the concierge glove in the afternoon. And you need to be ready to have these two things inside of you in order to be hosting in luxury.
Thank you, Mariah. And Flavia, what are your thoughts on that? Have you kind of noticed any major shifts in high-end guest expectations over the past year?
I noticed that now luxury is closer. I mean, back in the days, luxury was not for everyone. Today it becomes more affordable because they're not just a hotel. We have hotel and short-term rentals. So it means that being affordable, it means to be closer to us. And in a certain way, also there is not any more margin for error. The standards are really high, and the people would like to have like a hotel-like reliability experience in a short term, but still with the sense of experience of a private home. So what that feels like that, of course, technology is kicking really strong in this field, but still the human touch behind how to use the proper technology is going to be important. I just give you a brief example. I just rented a few months ago a really nice short-term apartment in around Alicante, so in Spain, and was everything amazing. I mean, the pool, the technology, big screen, and everything. But what amazed me the most was a little note writing down on in a piece of paper by the owners with a welcome gift. So nothing about technology, but more like a feeling that I was good welcomed over there. So luxury is, of course, technology, but the big main shift I've seen is always about to still let them feel to our guest that there is a human touch behind. There is someone that was expect me to be there and is more than welcome to have me in his place on their place. So this is the main shift because of course everything is technology nowadays. We have AI chat, we have big screens, we have PMS, we have everything. But what it will keeps you in your mind when you're gone, when you're having your flight back to your place, are the little details. So I think that one is the main shift. Who is going to be relevant in the luxury in the short terms is who one he will just give the best memory about the way back.
And I think that's where short-term rentals can really shine, as well as those small touches when it comes to luxury. So Sab, coming to you, are there any kind of key shifts that you've noticed or observed over the past year? And I guess from a brand building perspective, what do you think really shapes that guest perception of luxury and kind of shapes those expectations?
I think luxury is like what guests expect is the best of both worlds, right? The consistency of a hotel, of a beautiful hotel, and then the freedom and personality of a private home. So I think that is one way of defining luxury. I think it is safe to assume that guests know the capabilities of technology. So this is why the expectations are changing and are higher as well. So when it comes to remembering preferences, anticipating needs, there is now that expectation. I also believe, especially after this summer in Malta, which obviously was like a really strong one for us, at this point, guests are after fewer gimmicks and more depth. They don't have patience. They're after the quiet luxury. They don't have patience for this problems in check-in forms or it's not about that anymore. It is way above and beyond that. And it's all about using technology to, as Flavio said, enhance the human experience. So how can tech be used as a tool so that our humans and our guest experience teams have the chance to really deliver what hospitality is all about? So for me, this is a really important point to highlight. It's not tech, AI, or humans. It is how can best-in-class tech feature so that the humans can really enjoy delivering five-star hospitality.
Thank you. And Maura, just coming to you here again, I suppose when we think about what guests want and where are their expectations being shaped from, what do you think is one of the biggest myths that operators believe about what luxury guests really want?
Yeah, so the myth is that probably, you think that the guests are only caring about extravagant things, and when they actually want to be just a normal guest, they can be much more eye to eye than what you're expecting. Another myth is that if you have a luxury property, does not mean that the guests are super rich, because let's admit it, the biggest houses and nicest properties can host also 3-generation families want to share just family great time under one roof. And the moment that there's 2, 3, 4 households, they can afford super luxury home. But in the end, it's me and you and our families, right? So I think that we still have to define the kind of a guest. Before you were asking about the high-end guest, but it's not necessarily that the high-end guest is staying in a high-end property. High-end property can host different kind of groups, and we have to be versatile also in the way that we serving our services accordingly. So this kind of myth of the one kind guest is not existing. We have, and I'm suggesting strongly to everyone that step into developing a luxury collection to think carefully about who going to be the guest. You can have an amazing property not far from a golf course in Scotland or Ireland, but in the end, it's going to be 10 golfers who's each one chipping £500, and they're renting together £5,000 a night property. But will you give them the same experience, or would you be stressed about it in the same way if it would be a high-end customer, high net worth individual with his 3 children and 2 dogs? It's completely different, even though the house stays just the same. So I'm suggesting that we look at what does it mean to manage a high-end property, and from the other hand, to be prepared or to look at the scenario of different guests that will use this property along the different seasons. The off season, maybe it will be for retreat. So we have to be very diverse. But one thing is for sure, and there is no myth around it. High-end properties need high-end maintenance. So a high-end property always have to be ready for the guest as if the guest is actually the owner itself. So think about the most high payer client that you can have in your property, and stand these standards from renovation to changing furniture every season, keep authenticity, everything that has to do, you have to be the one setting the standards if you want to succeed in this task. Once you do that, the rest is super easy, believe me.
I think we think a lot about what those standards are and how do we kind of adapt to our guests. And I think it also links back to what we mentioned earlier about accessibility. So we're seeing more guest needs kind of in the luxury space. So interesting points there. Thank you, Mariah.
I do want to add something more. Another thing that we didn't expect as a myth is that luxury homes is luxury homes, but you will be maybe not surprised, but some of you will be surprised to see that the luxury homes that we offer in today in the space of vacation rental, a lot of them belong to hotels. And this is something we should keep in touch and keep an eye on, because hotels are very much aware of how interesting is to have private amenities and how these people are willing to pay a lot for other services, and they combine it, and many of them are even changing the models, combining rooms and so on, and going into our space. It means that we need to be even more ready to give the part that only vacation rental hosts can give, because it doesn't matter if it's a hotel with the private amenities, the soul of hospitality, eye to eye, as us as host, not going to be taken by any hotel brand. And this is something we should look at a superpower that we have when we are developing this collection.
Thank you, Mariah. And Flavia, just coming to you. Obviously, I know we're talking a lot about the kind of human elements here, but what kind of digital touch points do you think most influence guest satisfaction in the luxury space?
About digital touch points, I mean, I talked before about human touch. That of course is going to be there, but I think luxury is more about avoid frictions. So of course we all know that the guest has a journey, so it's before, during, and after their stay. I think a right digital touch points would be that every time a guest needs something from a property manager, he has to be frictionless, he has to be pretty on time, he has to match all the expectation. For example, I'm excited because I rent a really nice house for my vacation. Maybe it's the only vacation I got in my year. So I work a lot to enjoy my time over there. So I got a big expectation. What if, of course, the villa I rent is pretty nice, but the management is not right on time every time I got some concern and I ask something. So I don't feel already that my journey is going to be nice, even if I rented the most stunning place in the world. And I totally agree with Maria. Maria is not just about the apartment or the villa or whatever it is itself. Luxury is like a merge between the apartment and the operation, the property manager. So if the touch points with the guest are not efficient, based on technology, based on AI, based on whatever it could be, also a phone call, it means that the experience itself, it will not be as I was expecting to. So most of the touch points, to be fair, are before the arrival, not during the arrival, because luxury is always also, it means prevent. Prevent means that when I arrive to my place, everything has to be perfect. So if everything has to be perfect, it means there is an hard job before my arrival. So the touch point is always before, always. Because in the a really optimistic way, I will never need a touch point during my stay, except for, I don't know, services, excepting for add-ons, excepting for experiences, but everything happens before than that. So my point of view that digital touch points has to be there, has to be right on time before the arrival. That one is the most crucial things, because if we just rent a business place, we don't care that much. Let's be honest. If we rented something about is our lifetime journey, we do care. So is everything before the journey. I mean, speaking about me, I always would like to have match of my expectation before to arrive to some place.
Yeah, that pre-arrival window is obviously crucial, and I think when we come to think about operations, what kind of operational gaps then do you think kind of show up most often?
The gaps mostly are communication. Communication not between the guest and the property manager, but the communication between operational department in each property manager company. Because if we manage a luxury place, let's be honest, it's not like a unique place. Usually, we as property manager company, we like to set up like we supposed to have more than one luxury place. It's not like we manage city apartments, like 100 city apartments and just a villa. Mostly who manage villas manage 80% of portfolio about luxury. So we need to create a standard over there. Standard means that everything has to be perfect from the cleaning, from the maintenance. So the main gap is always about communication between the department, because it's not acceptable that a cleaning has to be done in a certain way in a property, in another way in others. So if we got the same level of flawless communication to different departments in a property manager company, 100% there will be no gaps of communication between a property manager company and their guests.
Thank you. And Sab, just bringing you in here, I guess from the kind of guest-facing side, what moments actually make the biggest difference to kind of perceived quality when it comes to luxury guests once they've arrived and during their stays?
Yeah, okay, so much to share here based on everything that was said. So, goal is we want to make guests feel seen, right? And we want guests to say, oh, they thought of me. That is the whole goal, basically. Okay, so as an example, if in our chat with a guest, she is asking us for wine bars with non-alcoholic beverages, okay, for example, then of course, thanks to technology, that is easy to pull that information and not leave wine in her welcome basket, okay? So rather than having to filter through reservations, go through all the chats, that is what technology will give us. Or another example we had really recently, mommy was traveling with 3 children and she asked us if there are any Peppa Pig events in Malta, right? This was conversation after her booking. Guest experience answered no. However, technology AI also flagged this for us, and we left her Peppa Pig stickers basically in the welcome basket. Of course, her children and she, because the children were happy, so she is over the moon, were very happy about this. So this is just like a little touch, now again, of what technology can do for us to anticipate needs and for us to also predict what a guest wants. And my first example of how we relate this to what we put in a welcome basket rather than just a cookie cutter approach should be the basic standard of anything luxury. If a guest has been asking us about like wineries in the area, then yes, that indicates that he loves wine. If he's telling us about breweries, though, how more thoughtful it would be for us to add beer instead of wine. So tech makes that easy for us, okay? When it comes to communication touch points, I agree with Flavio. A lot of it is before, but I also say anytime the guest wants. Okay, whenever the guest needs to check in, any question, and this is where AI can play such a beautiful role, whether it is sending videos about the area or something simple like check-in process or how an appliance works or how do I switch on the hot tub. The definition of luxury to me is send that answer is designed like a human. No matter technology makes it easier. Also through our guest experience journey going, what can we do to make this day better? Or what are you loving most? I think this sort of personal connection really makes the guests feel that we care about them and that we are hosting in more of the traditional way rather than focusing on the numbers in our portfolio.
Yeah, definitely. And do you think there are some areas where operators may overinvest when it comes to those luxury touches that maybe guests don't place so much emphasis on, and where do they kind of underinvest as well?
Yeah, we've seen this fewer gimmicks, right? But then when it comes to expectations, there are the basics, the obvious, right? Invest more in great water pressure, climate control, sustainability, because even if a guest isn't looking for this, this is such a learning opportunity, a teaching opportunity, basically. Wi-Fi access, this is like basic, right? No matter where you are in the property, strong Wi-Fi. A subject I love talking about a lot is bedding. Expectations of bedding. We want individuals, travelers, guests who are booking a luxury short-term rental to have a really great sleep, just like they would have in any other five-star property. As well, also our ability to create a work-life blend in the property, assuming that a guest might want that as well during their stay, whether they are traveling alone for business or for travelers. So really thinking of absolutely anything a traveler might want or need during their stay. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And I suppose, Mariah, bringing you in here, would you say that there are, obviously, I know you've kind of mentioned before about your Villa Tracker network as well. When we think about what kind of travelers or travel professionals are thinking or asking for today, that short-term rental operators might not be prepared for, what would you say they need to consider or think about?
You asking from the side of the travel professionals?
Yeah, so obviously we're talking a lot about guests and kind of people,
Yes.
travelers, and
So
how we can
let
prepare for
me
them.
first explain what is Villa Tracker. I'm sure it's new for a lot of you. So Villa Tracker is an official channel from Guesty as well as the first PMS that presenting it, and then with Rentals United and Booking Pal coming soon. It's the first, I think, B2B to C channel in the industry. It means that when you pushing your properties to Villa Tracker, the one that sees it and the one who books it, it's not the guest, but it's somebody on behalf of the guest. It's a third party, and they're having many, many different names. There's concierge companies, travel designers, VIP companies, travel agents, of course, and event planners, and many, many, many different names for people who's actually booking on behalf of somebody else their trip and designing their trip in all angles, including flights, boats, cars, etc. The one thing that they do not know how to do is how to book us. So until recently, before Villa Tracker was there was not really a way for them to communicate with us, to share their designers. And now back to your question after this, a bit of a long starting point about Villa Tracker. So travel designers, I was sitting and meeting so many of them today, and they're big excitement about the fact that they finally can book private properties, about the fact that luxury is staying in a place where hotels like I mentioned before, sometimes can never be built. You have historic properties. You have so many different kind of properties for them to design a completely different experience. And today, they are in the same or much more actually a situation like us when it comes to AI, when it comes to technology, when it comes to stress. They cannot keep on sending PDF to their clients. So they need to be ahead of time, and that's what we're helping them to do. We need to give them diversity. We need to think about supporting things like, imagine somebody is booking a big ski out chalet for him and his family, but he's also traveling with a nanny and with a cook and with 2 helpers. They don't really want them to sleep with them in the same house, right? So you need to think or cooperate with another property management around that will support this part of your guest stay and also help him by saying, okay, I have very close by another property, very close to your stuff. He will be super happy. Understand that he has a stuff. Some of them need the stuff in the house because they have little children. So you will suggest them a house that have maybe different floor that's dedicated to stuff to be in. A lot of things like that. So understanding from our side, a total different industry. Travel professionals, they need different factors in order for them to feel safe, to feel that there's no frauds, to feel that they can trust us. And with this, I'm asking and you know, everyone that wants to talk to this kind of professionals, share as much details that will make them feel good. The accurate address, not a house next door, all the amenities you can imagine, make a differentiation between the rooms, all the amenities, change the pictures, like I said, give us a feeling of how does it look in winter, how does it look in summer, what's not accessible in summer, and be ready to be a little bit of a travel agent yourself. Means know about what your destination has to offer, know about recommendation. I agree with Tab that AI can give us and technology can give us a lot, but they also want to know that you have a little bit of positioning in your destination. So the fact that you can be assisting with the technology on your side does not mean that you not need to be from the place. So I'm suggesting truly that if you want to have this kind of bookings, and we're talking about bookings that are in different spheres, tens and tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars per booking, we need to be prepared to be in our best of the best. But in the end, they're just a guest. They're having a smile when you're looking at them, when you're giving them the good special feeling like Flavio just mentioned, and they will be just as thankful. So just the numbers are completely different.
Interesting. It's interesting to think about kind of across hospitality and how we position luxury. So I think as well, as we've kind of discussed earlier, hotels have kind of set that benchmark for luxury for decades. And it's interesting to think about the standards now that we're seeing into practice in short-term rental space. So how much of that inspiration do you think kind of comes from hotels? And how can short-term rentals be positioned to be unique, I guess, in the space?
So I don't think that we need a hotel to teach us how to be a great host. And actually, naturally, we have many more amenities or private amenities than most of the hotels, right? So, so I would say, think like Flavio said, think about that one-time vacation that you're saving for, that you're waiting for, and you want to be pampered, you want to feel that everything will be perfect, and stand these standards of yourself. Yes, of course, encourage your homeowner and so on to bring more amenities and more things into the house itself, but also more services. I would say there's no competition between us and hotels. And it's very important in luxury, to my understanding, not to see it that way. We're not competing with the hotels. We are complementary. We are bringing something that hotel can never bring. We're bringing the fact that people can sit, with barefoot next to the fire in their pajamas to be together and laugh. They don't need to think about what the people next door in the lobby will think. So we're bringing these kind of things. From the other hand, we do have the private pool and we do have the other, sometimes private beach or whatever. It's more about what we have that the hotel do not have under the same roof. Yes, you should know also the hotels that giving some offer in your destination, and sometimes you can just make it more cost effective. Look what you're getting with us. Well, you will need 7 hotel rooms and no privacy in the same price. Then this is the point that we showing how we bring much more than hospitality, but also uniqueness. But I would say no, then standardization has to be ours, not to learn from hotels. We have a lot to teach them.
Definitely. And Sab, just bringing you into the conversation here as well. So obviously we're talking about the kind of unique aspects, the unique selling points of rentals and how to kind of overcome that narrative that hotels are kind of bringing that playbook or those standards when it comes to luxury, as we've said. So which parts do you think really just don't translate to short-term rentals when we think about that? And what are the unique aspects that operators can really highlight when it comes to their luxury offering?
Yeah, local expertise. I think this is so beautiful, and there's an expectation of really knowing the area of where the property is and making recommendations. Just live like a local. I think this is one of the highlights of short-term rentals. In our case at Zing, also the movement now, the shift from guest experience to virtual concierge, where we can actually help guests curate their time in Malta, no matter the reason for their stay. And as to link into what Mariah was saying about also acting and feeling like you are a travel agent, to give the guests the freedom, flexibility, and also feel that they can personalize their trip and you are assisting them and supporting them to make sure that they are not just booking places that you can find on Google, right? But it's more than that. You are giving them the best kept secrets in our case of an island, right, of Malta, but for any destination. And I think that is what makes us stand out as well as and the STR space within the hospitality industry. I think highlighting on those 2 points, virtual concierge and local expertise, is really what enhances our brand promise as a space.
Thank you. And Flavio, just bring you in here as well. What are the kind of tools and processes when it comes to building that luxury offering and those unique selling points do operators kind of underestimate and they could be kind of utilizing a lot more?
I don't think nowadays everyone is involved in luxury is using correctly the AI tools in 100% of they might be. Because usually, speaking about AI, that has to be the main topic nowadays, everything comes just in communication, which I think in luxury, of course, is the most effective tools because, as we all said before, everything has to be frictionless. So we need to answer as soon as possible and as accurate as possible. But AI can help us in order to do many things. It can help us to build right description for our channels of distribution. AI also can help us to have the right answer and the right language, because if you think about luxury, we have guests from all around the world. We don't have to be scared to speak their own language. Also, because luxury has no boundaries, has no flags, so our guests can come all around the world. So, what if to sustain a really nice conversation in their own languages? So, I think AI and technology, in general speaking, is really a powerful tool to build strong communication and, of course, trust between us and our guests. Because, as been said before, the guest of luxury is not like a normal guest. He's a special one. So he needs attention, needs to be treated as the value of the property that they booked. So to answer to your question, I think we need to improve more the technology in what we are doing nowadays, because again, luxury is, in my point of view, most about people, because we cannot divide the services we are giving to from the apartment or the villa itself. If you just take two luxury places, who wants is going to give you the best treatment in a personal speaking and give you the best experience. In the end of the day, it will always win. Always.
Thank you, Flavio. And what do you think kind of is driving repeat stays as well at a luxury level today?
Most of all, trust.
Mhm.
Because repeating means that I want to be there once again. So, in the first place, my experience has to be 7 stars, not 5 stars. So, it's a matter of trust. I trust this company, I trust this place, and I also trust that I've been in this villa, but the company, the property manager company, they manage pretty much more. So maybe next time I want to be in another one from their own group. I don't need to look for another company, another destination. I trust them. So mostly is a matter of trust, is a matter of a unique value proposition. Because if I choose to be once again in a place, it's like just thinking about the Michelin star restaurant. We can choose nowadays plenty of those. But if you're going to the same place and you choose a place instead of others, it means that you trust this place to give you once again a unique experience. So I would say, first of all, a matter of trust and a matter, of course, of brand identity, because I have to recognize, among others, that this place, this villa, this company is the best one. So again, my opinion, brand and trust.
Sab, I can see you nodding along there. Is there anything you wanted to add there?
You know what I like telling our team? So the differentiator, right? And again, building on what Mariah was saying about how much more than hotels that we can deliver. And I think it's the property is luxury. The definition of luxury for the guest is based on the standards that we are setting for our company.
Mhm.
So we are looking at the property as a luxury property. The guest, we're not looking at the guest if it's a luxury guest or not. The standard of our experience it should not change because of the type of property. So I think that could be a bit of food for thought as well. Maybe not at this point in the conversation, because I realize that we are towards the end. But I think it could be good food for thought as well. That the label of the property is luxury. Our guests deserve the experience that we have set as a team across our portfolio.
I want to add something small to it. When we talked about 7-star services that Flavio just mentioned here, and add to what you said, Seb, we are now managing. It's already snowing in Switzerland, so I'm based in Gstaad in Switzerland, in the Swiss Alps, and we have it's full of snow and beautiful, looking like a fairy tale. We have 150 chalets over there, and we taking on ourselves an extra payment for the owners. And before every booking, we are making sure that the place is warm at least 24 hours before. And 2 hours before they're arriving, somebody is actually setting up the wood ready with with the fire starters in the on top of it when it's already nice and cozy from other heating, the electric in the stove. When people coming and they're just coming from the cold into a warm house, I want to say this is luxury in the small details. It does not have to be flashy. You don't have to be to buy the most expensive wine. It's about thinking how to do this extra human touch to make somebody feel, oh, I arrived home. And remember, this is the one thing, again, hotel cannot give you. You giving the people the luxury feeling of being a homeowner of this beautiful place that you have for 1 week or something like this in another part of the world. This is a feeling by itself that is amazing. So let's take the stage that we already have and extend it with the small details that make somebody feel welcome.
So mute that. Perfect. Thank you, Mariah. And I suppose just to wrap up, I'd like to ask each of you, what do you think will kind of shape the next era, the next standards of luxury, in short-term rentals? So, Mariah, if we begin with you.
So I would say whatever will shape is, again, yes, of course, technology together with that human touch, the things that we will put together, and we will have to become kind of a super host, not necessarily for Airbnb, but for the guests that we're having. I believe that the era is to understand that a luxury home can do much more than its season. It's something that everybody should pay attention. A lot of luxury properties are in a leisure destination. They are mainly winter or summer, whatever. What's happening with these houses in between? We can offer them to a different use. If it's retreats, if it's getting together, I think that what we can do is to understand that the house itself can have also seasons within the year and take advantage of it with smart pricing and with ready to host in the same house different people, different groups. And the third thing, I believe that we need to be ready, like I mentioned, that a lot of real estate companies, as well as hoteliers and hotels, will get into the space of luxury vacation rental. I don't say that they will not learn to be good hosts like us. I just say that I wouldn't like to see the us that we have today losing numbers to this trend. So I want to encourage each and everyone who's listening today not to be afraid to get into the luxury space. Start with few properties, see if you cope with it. There's enough OTAs and other platforms that will help you get the right request or the right booking. Don't be afraid, but breathe there with your heart and with your full standards, because we don't want to be another facility in a hotel group or a real estate department. We want to stay luxury vacation rental.
Thank you. And Flavia, coming to you.
I would like to say that I'm quite sad right now to be in Madrid. I want to be in Switzerland next to a fireplace.
You're welcome, Flavia.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, I really liked what Mariah say about non-seasonality, because of course mostly of the luxury in terms about what we usually think is about happens just in the winter on in the summertime. So we need to find up new standards. And new standards, it doesn't mean that everything has to be the same. New standards mean that we need to elevate also apartment in between, like she was saying, and elevate also the standard for the apartments or villas that are not yet in that luxury segment, and figure it out how we can elevate our portfolio and make also the apartment that are not yet in a luxury segment in that one, because we have many target of people that we can reach. We can reach travelers that travel for work. We can reach also those one that are traveling in a non-high season, not in a peak season. So she is totally right when she said that we need to not learn but teach to the hotels how we can make the right hospitality. And we can also teach to ourselves as an industry about how to elevate standards to make also not luxury apartments or short terms and elevate those in that segment. So
Mm.
my forecast for this, it would be that in the next 2 or 3 years is going to be like a consolidation of the market. So if you want to survive also as a normal apartment in a short-term business, you need to provide a luxury experience, even if you are just, let's say, a city apartment. Also because normal travelers, business travelers, leisure travelers, they want to and they deserve a luxury experience.
Thank you. And Sab, coming to you.
I think in the art of making people feel special, because it's an art, I know that it's your birthday without you having to tell me, because technology has pulled that information from the check-in form, and that will delight you, right? So prediction, the ability to predict. And also I see a space which can really be elevated, whereby in the case of guests who are choosing to stay with us over and over again, then we fiercely get to know the guests very well. So we know that in 3 stays ago, this guest has asked us for green tea and not coffee. So therefore, we can provide that without having her to ask over and over again. And that, I believe, is where technology can help us make our stays more human.
Perfect, thank you. I think we've been a really interesting conversation covering a lot of ground, particularly kind of looking at the use of technology, but also the human touch, the impact of kind of enforcing standards in the space, and kind of what we can learn to kind of adapt and grow in the industry and work with what our guests want as well. So thank you all. I'm going to wrap it up there, but thank you so much for your insights, and also to Guesty as well. So I've just got a few closing points as we wrap up, but again, thank you all. Okay, great. So hopefully I can see all of you at our next webinar, which is next week on trends. So this is our trends webinar, which will be covering some of the key trends and ideas that have shaped the industry over the past year. So hopefully I will see you there. And just an announcement that we are live for the shorties. So tickets are available and entries are now available. So it is completely free to enter. So please do visit the Shorties 2026 website for all details related to the categories and entry submission criteria, and submit your entries there. And here's a quick video on the shorties. And as always, if you're interested in working with us, then please reach out to our head of growth, whose contact details are on screen and in the link below. And again, thank you, massive thank you to Flavio, Sab and Priya for being on our panel today, and to Guesty, of course. Please enjoy this short video from the IHM team.
At IHM, we believe in the power of connection. We exist to inspire, to inform, and to unite decision makers who are shaping the future of hospitality and real estate. Our why is simple. We believe this industry thrives when people and ideas come together. And we're here to make that happen. So how do we do it? We publish 4 leading multimedia brands, each a trusted voice in its sector. We blend intelligent content, curated events, and a strong community into everything we do, making it easy, accessible, and genuinely useful. From online engagement to face-to-face connection, we are known for being insightful, collaborative, and refreshingly human. We host world-class events, panel discussions, podcasts, award ceremonies, and webinars designed to spark ideas, drive conversation, and create impact. With over 62,000 monthly web visitors, 55,000 email subscribers, and 69,000 social media connections. Our reach is deep, and our community is active. We're partnered with the biggest names in hospitality, and we'd love to connect with you. So whether you're looking to grow your visibility, meet the right people, or understand where the market's heading, read, watch, listen, and me. Do it all with IHM.